Hey everyone. I want to have a very important conversation today about the fear of judgment. And this is something I used to struggle with so deeply, you guys, so deeply. It held me back for literally years, as far as really stepping into my leadership, stepping into who I know I can be online and really growing my business the way that it's required to show up. If you have an online business, being visible is a must, right? Yes, there are some faceless brands and things like that. That's a different strategy. But if you're building a personal brand, which most of you are going to have to um, do just that. Build your personal brand, show up authentically, show up who you are, and build that trust so people trust you. They're investing in you. And so they've got to know you and they've got to be able to see you to make those investments. And I see this a lot where really, really smart experts are held back because there's this huge block, huge, with the fear of judgment. And so this presents itself in a lot of different ways. One is it causes perfectionism paralysis. So if this is you, let me know in the comments, but where you're wanting everything to be absolutely perfect. And the fear is that if you don't show up perfect, your colleagues or your peers or even your prospects, whoever, are going to judge you. And I just want to flip that script a little bit and let you know that people want to invest in people that are approachable, relatable. They don't want perfect. And that is a big thing, especially with high achievers, to get over. But if you look at some of the people you love to follow, and all of that, you will see people aren't perfect. People show up imperfectly. And that is what makes them real human. And that's what helps us really feel like we have a stronger connection. And then obviously a fear of rejection. This comes through really strongly. One that I had to deal with myself as well, but just feeling rejected or unaccepted by others. And this can be very scary. And I get that. But what's going to happen is, one, that's not going to happen to the level that you think it's going to. I can tell you that right now. And two, yes, sometimes when you show up a lot, there will be people that don't jive with your message, that don't love what you're talking about, that are going to be in disagreement. And that's okay. One, you can just block those people, right? You don't have to hold on to people in your feed. This is your space. You don't have to keep people there that are not in alignment with who you are. That's totally fine. And two, the opposite's going to happen. You're going to get people who absolutely freaking love who you are and how you're showing up and love your message. And that is powerful because those are the people you're going to be able to help. And so really just trying to work through that. And I will tell you, exposure is the best way to work through that. It's something that you just have to really just try to, little by little, more and more exposure, get through it. But I'm telling you, you'll have less rejection than your subconscious probably is thinking you're going to. But again, really focus on building that community of people who are going to support you. And since you are an expert, you're going to be able to relieve those people from frustrations, right, when they work with you. And that makes a huge difference and a ripple effect. So really focus on all that. The other thing is comparison culture. So in this day and age, you probably are looking at people in your niche and thinking, well, when they post something, they get, hundreds of likes. And when I do it, it's crickets. And there's all this comparison, or how am I going to show up and look compared to, Susie or whoever. And so that's holding you back from just really showing up. And what I will tell you is the people you're looking up to in this space and you're comparing yourself to have probably been active in working through this stuff and showing up a lot longer than you have in some capacity. And so, one, everyone's on their own journey. You're going to attract your own people because people are going to be attracted to you, your authentic self, how you show up, your energy, all of that. And that's going to be slightly different or very different from the people you're comparing yourself to. Also, no journey is alike. Who knows what background they've had, how much energy, how the team they've had, all these different things to show up in that space. So really try to just look at it as your journey. The only person you're competing against is yourself. And look at your stats over time. Are you growing your audience? Are people becoming more engaged? That kind of thing. Don't compare yourself to others. I promise you, comparing yourself to others, and we're all guilty of it. I've done it too, but doing that is so demotivating. And if you want to stay motivated and sharing your message, which I know is important, then just just go against yourself. Just go against yourself and try to improve over time. Another reason that people really struggle with this are past negative experiences, and this is completely valid. So you may have had other people in your life judge you. Maybe you suffered from bullying growing up, or you've had relationships that are unhealthy. There's so many different ways that we can truly suffer in our lives, and when it comes to people judging us and people not treating us well. And that is 100% valid reason to have this fear, have that tightness in your chest when it comes to really being vulnerable and showing who you are and showing up online. My advice for that was, one, I'm a big supporter of therapy. So yes, if you've gone through this, therapy is amazing. Get in therapy to help you work through some of these things, but also just use the blocking feature. Go through and block people literally who've been in your life in the past, if they're still on your social media, anything like that. Don't worry about them seeing this stuff. Also, if someone comes onto your page and is not participating in the way that feels good to you, block them. You don't have to explain this to anyone. This is your space, and you can feel free to block as you see appropriate. And so those are some reasons why this fear of judgment really holds people back. And I know it's huge because I've worked with literally hundreds of experts over the past 9 years. And this is a theme. This is very, very common. And so the thing is like it's empowering to know why that might be happening, but then also just to acknowledge it. Say, yes, this is something that I am struggling with, and this is why, and this is my plan moving forward. So making a plan to move past this, because this is your business. This is your business, and the people are out there that need your support, but they cannot hire you. They cannot hire you if they don't know how you can help them. And so again, people are going to live in those frustrations. They're going to live in a space where they are right now without your help. And we want to make sure you're showing up and talking about what you do in a powerful way so that you can bring in those ideal clients and you can really help them get to where they desire to be. And I think at the end of the day, that is super important. And that is more important than some of these other things that are holding us back. But we have to work through those so that we can achieve our mission of helping the people. And so there's just some ways that I have personally used to overcome this. And again, if you don't know my backstory, I'm not going to go into the full thing, but when I started my business 9 years ago, you guys, I was diagnosed with agoraphobia and severe panic disorder. And so I started this literally shaking. I'm sorry, I don't know why the frog got in my throat, but literally shaking anytime I would even make a post. So I'm coming to you with this with the most empathy because I get it. Like I get it. Literally feel like I'm dying, even making a post or talking about me or anything like that. And so I had to work through all this, right? And the fear of judgment, fear of failure, all these things were really huge for me. And I was able to work through them. And now I love showing up for my community. I love showing up. It has completely transformed my business. I know the work I do is transformative, and I really feel like it's a service to show up, and I feel very empowered in that. And I want that same for you. But so some of the things that you can do is really focus on how showing up is a service. It is a service. If you have something, if you are an expert and you are truly able to foster transformations for people, showing up and talking about what you do is a service because you are able to transform lives, right? And again, they cannot work with you if they don't know you exist, if they don't know how you help them. The other thing is just start small. Start small and build your confidence over time. I will tell you, confidence is not something it's not a personality trait. It can be learned. It can be learned, right? It's not just something that you have or don't have. Like confidence can be learned, and it takes time, and it takes showing up and committing to showing up, but start small. Don't feel like you have to show up all day, every day at the beginning. Start small, build your confidence. At first, it's going to feel really, really terrifying for a lot of people. And I know because this was how it was for me. Um, but there's so much power and so much growth on the other side of that, that I really think if you can get through those first couple months of being very, very scared, then it opens up so many doors for you, so many doors for you. And I want that for you really badly. The other thing is, you know, block. If someone's in your page, I know I said this before, but if they are saying something that's not aligned, if you feel like they're coming after you, just block them and move on. We don't have time for people in our energy that are trolls or trying to bring us down or anything like that. The other thing is, like, sometimes criticisms, constructive criticism can be good. So, and this is up to your discretion, but you can use those conversations to help you grow as a business owner and really understand where people are coming from that may or may not want to work with you. And boundaries are good. So this goes back again to like the blocking, not letting people say certain things on your page, that kind of thing. It's okay to make a list of your boundaries. This is what I will accept. This is what I won't accept. You don't have to share that with anyone, but if you just at least know that, then it's going to make these decisions very easy. And I just want to say, this doesn't come up very much. So it's not like when you start going, live and or even just making posts, things like that, you're going to get all these haters all the time. It happens once in a blue moon. For me, it happens a lot more like on ads and things like that, because when people don't know you, they are more confident with the keyboard. But it doesn't happen all that often. But if the fear of judgment is really, really holding you back, seriously, make a plan, make your boundaries, so that if something does happen, you have a plan. This is not something I accept, and you can block and move on. Seriously, think about your expertise. And this is something I love to have my clients do, is literally list like 100 ways how you help people. And now with AI, you can even have AI help you do that. But it is so motivating to sit there and read that, and read this every day if you need to. I mean, you might not go through the whole 100, but read them every day and remind yourself, this is how I make a difference in this world. If you are tapped into that, it's going to be a lot easier to show up, right? Like the people judging you, or the people in your mind that you think might be judging you, that starts to not matter, because you're like, okay, great, but I am doing this good in this world. I am helping these people. I know I'm helping people. And if I don't show up, I can't help those people. And just be really compassionate with yourself, right? Self-compassion goes a long way. I will tell you, a gratitude practice, prayer, whatever you need to do, give yourself some grace and some self-compassion. And then the last thing I'll say is to really visualize how this can look for you once you really step up as a leader in your space online, and the ripple effect. So this is a really good meditation to do that I've done before too, but it's like, close your eyes and think of, okay, I show up and this many people see my post, right? Well, what if that helps all these other people with their businesses? And then they're helping other people, and their families are supported. And then it starts to grow into literally millions of people, the ripple effect that you are impacting just by showing up and being a leader in your space. So I hope that helps. I know this is something that is really real for people. And again, it was real for me. Therapy, great, but also work through these things. I hope this gives you some actionable steps to where you can start working through this, because there is so much opportunity on the other side.